Hey everybody, Tim Brahim, Performance Experts Coaching and Leadership 360 from the Coach's Corner with another business and life tip for you. And this one's a very timely one given the recent upward trends in interest rates that we've experienced here in the month of December. And I wanted to get to you and give you some suggestions as to how to handle some of this stuff. First of all, let me establish this. It's your job to be incredibly proactive as rates trend upward in communicating that information in an articulate and educational way to your prospect leads. So if you haven't already done so, you should be crafting an email or calling each of them individually and sharing with them. We've had a rather significant increase in interest rates since the election. The stock market's been going crazy. The Fed just raised rates. And the forecasts for 2017 are an upward trend in rates. Now, let's not jump off of buildings, but let's certainly understand that we want to move aggressively in either refinancing your home, or if you're in fact looking for property, we don't want to be excessively patient because this market could run away from us and become unaffordable. So you need to be communicating that to your clients. You also need to be reaching out to the real estate agents that you work with and asking them this question. Who do you have right now that's a prospect that you have not yet introduced me to, that you'd like me to educate and assist them in understanding the potential urgency needed in finding inventory as they're looking for property in the marketplace? And then share with them that you're going to communicate with them on an ongoing basis to these prospect leads where rates are heading in an effort to make sure that they understand that time is somewhat of the essence before these rates run away from us. Real estate agents will appreciate your assistance on that. They're not very good at educating people on this. And oftentimes, at least the initial onset of an upward trend in interest rates is an influx of purchase contracts for this very reason. And it's the great loan officers that do a good job of educating the clients that help them see that now is a great opportunity to strike while the iron is hot, that have the most success. Now let's talk about a couple of loan programs that maybe you haven't sold in a long time. The first one is a 7-1 ARM. Now, one of the questions that I used to always ask a client was something along these lines. How long do you think that you're going to need to borrow this money for? Now, this differs from the typical question of how long are you going to be in the home for? And the reason that how long you're going to need to borrow the money for is the really important question, is because it also takes into consideration the probability of lower interest rates in the future. We all know that rates are cyclical. A question that I used to always ask a client to reflect upon as it related to the 7-1 ARM is, what was different in your life 7 years ago than from today? And when people look back 7 years, a lot usually has changed. Some of those people weren't married. Some of them didn't have any children. Some of them had an entirely different job or lived in a different state. And then I would share with the client, 84 months is a really long time. This loan has you protected for 7 full years at a very attractive interest rate. And it's going to be my job on an ongoing basis to help you manage your indebtedness. This is why I ask you the question, how long do you need to borrow the money for? Because if I'm doing my job correctly, my job really just begins when your loan closes with me. Because from there, it's my job to assist you in managing the largest indebtedness in your life. Most people that do what I do for a living just provide the debt and walk away, and I'm not going to do that. So I think it's a relatively low-risk proposition to go into a 7-year fix, given the fact that I'm going to be proactive in managing your debt. And when there's an opportunity to rewrite your loan, either into another 7-year, a few years down the road, or into a 30-year if rates and when rates come back down, we're going to take advantage of that opportunity. Generally speaking, gang, if you're wondering if this is, snake oil sales, for lack of a better term, rates are so cyclical, you'll notice that there's never more than a 7-year period where we don't return back to the lower levels that we're at. 7-1 ARMs are a terrific product right now, 5-1s as well, especially if the client thinks that there's a high probability that they might be moving on sometime in the next 60 months or so. Now, the other program that I really want you to be looking at is the 2-1 buy down. And most loan originators don't even know what that program is because it's been so long since they've sold it. So let me explain to you how that program works. Essentially, what you're looking for is an interest rate that has about a 265 basis point overage. And that you take that overage money and you buy down the interest rate for the first 12 months and then the second 12 months. So the way it works is this. Let's say right now 5% is at a 265 basis point overage. You can put your client into a loan that's fixed at 3% for the first year, 4% for the second year, and 5% for years 3 through 30. Now, it's not going to help them get qualified any more easily because you have to qualify at the fully indexed rate of 5%. But for people that are experiencing sticker shock because it's an emotional thing, right? I mean, people have been shopping around looking for property. They started 6 months ago. They were looking at interest rates are a good 0.5 to 0.75% lower, and now they're having a very difficult time digesting the fact that they've got to pay a higher rate. This is a very effective product to sell. You can also talk to your real estate agents about negotiating into the contract on the purchase price for the seller to pay 1.5, 2, or even 2.5 points to buy that rate down for the client. Yeah, the client may have to pay a little bit more for the property to get that done, maybe $5,000 or a little bit more, but the payment might be what the clients most focus on and what's most attractive to them. So you need to start strategizing with your real estate agents on the different products that you have to offer in your arsenal beyond that of the 30 and 15 year that you've been selling for months and months now, and how to use those products aggressively to help create a more appetizing purchase environment so your real estate agents feel like they have some creative ways to write contracts and help get people off the fence and move forward. I hope that this business and life tip helps you. Happy holidays to everybody, and we'll be back at you right after the first of the year with a whole bunch more great information. Bye-bye.